grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Julie's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Julie.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rosé All Day, Optimistic in Orlando. I'm your host, Julie, joined by my good friend and co-host, Rebecca. We have not been live for a while. It's really funny. We actually had recorded about a month and a half ago 2 episodes to run when we were out of town or not feeling well, and we've already gone through both of those episodes. And
we haven't done a show since we were together?
I think we did one show after we were together, and then we ended up running both of those episodes. So you were in New York. I got sick. Let's be honest. I went to the doctor last Friday. I have a new doctor. I love him. And he was like, there's this viral thing going around. It lasts for about 5 to 6 days. He's like, have you been kissing a lot of people? And I was like, no. And he was like, have you been doing the whole... And no.
Did he say that?
And he was like, you got it. That's probably what it is. I was like, can you please give me something for it? And he goes, if it ends up being bacterial, but he goes, I'm pretty sure it's viral and it's just right here. He's like, your lungs are clean. There's no crackling. So I've been like, that's why I didn't go live last week. And then you were in New York. So like, now we're back together. Let's talk about our wines. We have a lot to talk about today. We were laughing in the green room about it. Not really laughing, but you know,
having a
doing our thing. My wine tonight is one that we have both tried before. This is courtesy of Melissa Schaefer because I'm currently watching her dog Alfie in Windermere, Florida, which is why I'm in this lovely seaside retreat. But this is Cote de Rosé. Cote de Rosé. I really like the way it tastes. And then, Rebecca, what are you drinking tonight?
I have Liquid Light, it's called. It's a really pretty bottle, and it's got lower calories, which you really can't tell. But it's lovely. And I added calories with some strawberries.
So I love it. Strawberries are empty. And strawberries are empty calories, though, right?
Yeah, it's healthy rosé, healthy sangria.
And look, we have one of our regulars in our chat tonight. We have Kenneth.
Hey, isn't it Kenzeth?
Kenzeth, that's right. You know, I have cataracts, and I'm sitting here without my glasses.
So. I got you, Kenzeth.
You got me. You got him. So good to see you in here. We like people that can join us live, and you can do that in real time. And we like to hear your comments, and we show them sometimes during the show. Tonight's show, we're going to be getting into more detail a little bit later, but Florida ranked top 5. We came in at 4 for being the worst state for online dating. So we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about the whys. We're going to give you some tips on how you can navigate that, which is pretty much what Optimistic in Orlando has been about since the duration. I'm doing pretty well in picking people for myself. Rebecca has not done it in a while, which is great. That means that I am trainable and learnable. And I'm doing okay. So we're doing less picks lately, but we're talking more about just life in general and dating and all that. So we're going to get into all of that a little bit later. A couple of things I want to mention though, stumbling across news and newsworthy news. I'm a huge, Bravo fan, and I really like the Housewives that are on Bravo, and of course they have them in every city now, for the most part. But they are getting new cast members to the Beverly Hills franchise, And there are reports that Chelsea Handler, the comedian, is going to be joining the cast this season.
No.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
I
it.
am so gonna watch
I'm
that.
so here for it. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm rocking her hairstyle today
You
anyway.
definitely have a Chelsea Handler vibe going on right now.
Definitely. But she is she's no nonsense. And I think what you see in person or on television is exactly how she is in public or in her personal life. So I think it'll be interesting to see that dynamic. And people are saying she's going to call people out. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
But she'll probably do it in that way that she does her comedy, which is she's probably going to be very like tongue in cheek and kind of like throw out jabs that you don't know if she's being funny or if they're jabs, which is my kind of humor. Like,
I love it.
I love when people are like, I can't tell if you're being serious, Juleigh. And I'm like,
That's the goal.
So that's going on. Also, Fox News is running a story right now. I've seen it on Fox twice. I don't watch Fox, but people are starting to post it all over social media. And it is that people are now coming out and saying that as a gender, they can identify as a season. Rebecca, what are your thoughts on that? I think this goes so far beyond like a woman standing up and saying, I'm a spring, which they used to do in reference to colors that look best on you. But to use it as a gender,
I can't even. There's this small, infinitesimally small part of me that's like, I want us to be so connected to Mother Nature that could feel right for you. But I don't. I really don't. I don't. I'm making a circus out of what these labels, which I have a challenging relationship to anyway, are actually the purpose of them is to help protect groups of people like yourself who are at risk, to help connect people. And therefore, like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, real things.
There are only 4 seasons. There are not enough seasons. And I said this in the green room. This is my feeling about it. There are not enough seasons. There are only 4, right? Let's name them together. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. There are 4. There are way too many people on this planet. There's not enough diversity in the seasons for it to make sense to me. I'm sorry.
This is the best argument there is. You know what? But literally, it's not a bad argument because it's getting to the point where it's like you can't try to tag every aspect of the way you relate to yourself and sex. Like at some point, like you just have to be like, okay, I sort of generally have similar characteristics to this group. But if we start to like really pull it apart, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't know. I'm like crochet,
Well,
like,
and how like, what's the word I'm looking for? How, I don't know. I don't want to say limited. That's not the word, but like.
It is.
Assholey. I'm going to say it. How assholey would it be if I showed up and I'm like, hi, I'm Juleigh and I'm summer solstice? Because I would be like, I need a broader like range than just one of the seasons.
It's so true. I could never be. I mean, I couldn't even be a month. It's not. It's just. It doesn't. It wouldn't nail me.
Well, and then can you imagine? Like this will feed into legislature coming down saying you have to be your born month. Be like, fuck, I don't feel like a Gemini. I feel like.
Or you have to identify as the season of life that you are in.
I'm in my golden years.
I'm like getting into late summer.
Like, what? And then, if that's not bad enough, I'm reading about that today. And you know how you open up your laptop, and I was like opening my laptop to prepare for tonight's show and like make sure our graphics are up. And I just eventually gave up because I was like, this is hard. And I didn't feel like being challenged today. So I read an article where a girl came out and said that she identifies as a brosexual.
Wait, I just need to clarify this. Is it BRO, like bro, like broy, like people that are in college? Okay.
Yeah. A, so the letter A is for apple. BRO, sexual,
Okay.
abro. And in the article, as I'm reading it, this woman's like, it took me 30 years to realize it. And I look at her picture and I'm like, she's like 32. So I was like, oh. And then
I already don't like her.
And then she was like, she said in the article, point blank, she goes, well, that means that I can change my mind whenever I want to about what I'm attracted to or who I'm attracted to. And I'm not limited to gender. I like the energy. And I literally scratched my head for a minute. I went, she's pansexual. And somebody else said, no, she can change her mind. And I went, anybody can change their mind. Sleep with who you want to fucking sleep with. Don't tell the world about it.
Do you think I'm not changing my mind about who I'm hooking up with when I hook up with one gender and then another? Of course I'm changing my mind. But also she's trying to advocate for the perspective that is every like de-gaying philosophy ever, that like, oh, it's just a choice and there's nothing biological behind whatever. So like if you can just choose to be gay, then why not choose to be straight? Like everybody should be abrosexual. Like
I'm literally a part of the acronym. I'm literally in the gay community. Most of my friends are gay. I know plenty of trans people. I know plenty. I am a part, and I'm like, for Christ's sakes, yes, everybody deserves to be seen. But this, let's rename everything and let's make it fit us. Like enough.
Yeah, no, it's so unbelievably narcissistic. I mean, I feel misrepresented. No, I just feel so frustrated that like also, I mean, no offense, I'm only 35. So if she's only 32, fine. But I am aware that I have had many different types of relationships to my sexuality and my gender over the years. Surprising, I know. However, like I am not going to, at like every different age, decide that I have a whole new label because of that moment of processing I'm in about like, am I choosing a vagina when I think about it? Am I choosing a penis? I don't know. Oh my God, but I am choosing a person. No, you can't just come up with some other random shit because you had some like feelings while you were journaling in the corner of your bedroom.
And that's
this is like I'm unbelievably insensitive right now, but I'm just frustrated because this is the type of fodder that people on the far right and groups that are not, in truly in a negative way towards social justice use these kinds of people as their poster childs for what is ridiculous about being gay.
I mean, look. Arguments are going to come up where somebody comes out and they're going to be like, I identify as winter. And somebody else is going to turn around and be like, we get it. You're a frigid bitch, but you can't use winter as your identifier.
Also, I'm like, well, yeah, what does it mean to be winter in bed? I mean, I don't want to date a winter.
Does that mean you like to sleep with a fan on and turn your AC all the way down to like 62?
Oh man!
Right, and then they'll come forward and you'll be like,
"It's gender identity. It's not sexuality." They would make even more sense if we had to push this in there. It would make more sense as a sexuality. You would have spring sex. You would have summer sex. You would have fall sex.
Spring sex would be Twitter-pated. Summer sex would be hot and heavy. Fall sex would be
like salt and pepper experienced, and winter would be frigid.
Salt and pepper experienced with a pumpkin latte, probably.
Yeah, like kind of warm and cozy.
But it literally just gets to the point where you're like, we are doing way more damage
So
And
much
I'm not
more.
saying we, but I'm just so much. I had a great, I am starting to do a little more outreach and education about what it means to be intersex in communities. That's kind of what my push is this summer, and especially here in Florida. But I had a great meeting this week with a new friend and a new colleague, and we were talking about pronouns. And they even said, and they are a trans woman, they said it's crazy. And they said, even beyond the they them pronouns for non-binary, then you get into the this and the z pronouns. Hold on, excuse me.
Bless you. We need 3. Bless you, Julie.
I want to give the people what they want.
What are your sneezes?
Now we'll go into a coughing fit. But she was talking about the Z and the this, and she was like, the page came out and it had like 30 different pronouns on it.
Oh my God. I'm going to take advantage of your sneezing, bless you, to say pronouns are to simplify who you are referring to in a sentence. Otherwise, use their name like a human being with a unique identity.
Right.
I mean, I'm very into there's a Han or something in, I don't know if it's in Danish or something, but I like a good they. I like that the world is referring to people, like let's say you're telling a story. For example, your friend, you referred to them, her, I don't know who it was, as they. And it's like, okay, because it's helpful because the person's not starting to filter out what they think about the person based on a gender stereotype, right? So I appreciate that. I'm happy to call someone they, them, if that's how they would like to be referred to in reference to them specifically as a known person. But like, I just, beyond that, it's like, well, then use their fucking name. And and why don't we identify as our identity?
When I first started on TikTok, people would come in all the time and they'd be like, what are your pronouns? And I was like, my whole thing, and for the longest time, I would tell people I don't believe in pronouns. Obviously, I believe in them. But like, I was like, I think that so many people at that time, this is like 3 years ago, would ask not necessarily because they wanted to know how you identified as much as they wanted to still slander you and treat you in a shameful way. So they would ask what your pronouns were in a way to then be like, yeah, right. Or no, that's, and I said, look, and I would say all the time, I said, if I was walking out of the bank, you don't know me from Adam, and I'm walking out of the bank, and you held the door open, and I smiled and said, hi, thank you. How would you refer to me?
You?
Right. Or you would just say, you're welcome. Or,
oh, yeah.
Matter, right? And I said, the people in my life that know me and hang out with me, they know how to approach me, and they know my name. And I was like, so when I say I don't believe in pronouns, for a brief moment, you would get an email from Sarah in accounting that you've worked with for the last 15 years. And now it said, Sarah in accounting, she, her, soccer mom, aerobics coach, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nobody cares. I'm not going to treat you differently because you're putting that shit in there. If anything, I don't care that you go to Jazzercise or that you're a soccer mom. I don't care. Do you do your job? Yes. Are you a good person? Yes. Do you deserve my respect because we're both working in the building together? Yes. Like, am I going to treat you differently? No. And then I also would say, if I responded in a way that you didn't want me to respond to you or acknowledge you, most people are going to turn around and correct you and say, oh, I identify as Peter, or I'm now, right? They tell you. If they're not telling you, they don't want you to know. And if they don't want you to know, it's not your place to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my whole beef 3 years ago on TikTok. And I'm still kind of that way. I'm like, look, my name's Julie. I have breasts. If you know me and you love me and you're spending time with me, you're going to refer to me as Julie or Juliekins, as Manny says, or Jules, and you're going to respect me in this vessel. And if you don't, you probably don't know me and you're not my friendship circle, and I don't care. And it got to the point where everybody was like, I deserve to be seen. I'm he, him. I'm she, her. And people would be like, well, what are your pronouns? I'm like, goddess, extreme being. Like, because it gets to the point where you're like, how do you see me? Well, I see you as a man. Well, I'm not a man. So clearly, do you know what I mean? And it's just gotten so convoluted over the last couple of years. Like, I get the community that doesn't understand, and they're like, I don't understand. And a lot of them, their beef is not what the media says. They're just like, who cares? Go live your life. Go live your best life. Sleep with who you're going to sleep with. Don't postpone joy. Enjoy life. Enjoy the people you include in your life. And who cares? Mm-hmm. And then you have people that are like, no, you have to see me. You have to see me.
My thing is like, okay, if you want us to see you, don't reduce yourself to a preposition. You know what I mean? Like, it's a function of, as a writer, it's a function of grammar. It is a way to shorten a sentence. And if that is what one is fixated on, I don't mean this to be offensive to anybody.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Here's the caveat. If it's very special to you, because in your journey of relating to yourself in those aspects, it has helped you ground yourself or connect with a community or any other sacred act for yourself, so here for it. But as a whole, I feel that it is being misused by society when we are overly identifying with that as though that is what we are.
Right.
Rather than just an easy way to refer to you behind your back.
Which, that's how most people use it, unfortunately, right? That's how they're making sure that they know how to call you out on something. Anyway, we could talk forever on pronouns. I'm not agreeable with the abrosexual going back, because that's pansexual.
Yeah, that's what's sexual. I don't have a problem with pronouns. I'm super here for it. Please tell me what yours are. I'm great with that. But like the abrosexual really just threw me off.
Let's just sleep with who you want to sleep with. This is just Julie's, and Rose and Rebecca kind of feels the same way. I know. Just sleep with who you want to sleep with. Just enjoy who you want to enjoy. Do what you want to do. Be with who you want to be with. And let's just quit sharing it with the world, because really at the end of the day, nobody cares.
And if you want to share it with the world, allow yourself to have a little bit more magnitude.
Like, don't get all upset. Like, now my camera's messing up again. What is that? This must be the internet. Okay, so let's get on to the title of tonight's show, which is dun, 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 dun. Did I even put it up? Did I even include it? I thought I made a banner. Oh, I did make a banner for it. Here we are. Florida is number 4 in a recent poll of the worst states for online dating. Rebecca, why do you think Florida even made this list? I do have to tell you, it's not for violence. So
is it because there's too many summers? No, cute, but
I know.
It's not for violence. Okay.
So it's top 4. So 3 states are in front of it, 1 behind it. Top 4 for being the worst in online dating.
Okay, this is also going to end up getting me canceled because I'm going to throw out. This is going to sound so Florida hating. Because okay, guys, I have to pick bad things. So we're just.
We also have to tell you, it's not like Rebecca's not talking about Florida because I mean she grew up in Melbourne.
I grew up in Melbourne.
She's
I
currently
visited
in Savannah.
So I can talk about Florida. So this is a random guess, not based on any Floridian thing, but is it that a lot of people are actually married or have another family? They're not really single.
I mean, that could be a part of it, but that's not.
So, and it's not just like in general, like misrepresentation of self. So like dishonesty in profiles with age, lifestyle, or who else is in their life.
So it's actually the worst state. It's number 4 on the list because of catfishing, fake profiles, and online scams like identity theft and stalking.
Wow.
Number 4. So this poll was done.
Number 1.
Well, wouldn't you like? I mean, I know because I read the article today. But let's let you guess the top 3 states, and then I'll tell you the top 5. And then the other thing is, one of the reports was women have reported that in these states, even after they say no, that they get unsolicited pictures. We know that from this podcast. That's everywhere, right? But they get unsolicited pictures, scamming. So like love scams. So like people that say, oh, I'm on a peacekeeping message in Nigeria, and I really need you to send me everything in your bank account so that I can come sweep you off your feet and make mad love to you. Right. Number 4. And then identity theft, online romance scams, unsolicited pictures, and once women say no, I'm not interested, online stalking, keep coming after them, keep sending them messages. So not violent in like there's violence once you go out on a date with the person, more like scammy and phishing and stuff like that.
Okay, so all of the above are what's considered negative experience, and these are rated by sort of all of the above. Oh God, this is rough because I'm just gonna have to start attacking states. I mean,
I thought. Let me look real fast, but ironically, I thought
is Georgia on there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we number 1?
No.
Oh, okay. And then I've got to think there's like a bigger city. Somehow I feel like
I don't think you might guess number 1.
Is one of
number
them like
2 number 2 was surprising
something?
for me. Number 2 was surprising for me.
Okay, yeah, because here's a dark horse. Is one of them like Washington State or something?
No. But
too cool.
where do you think Georgia falls on the?
I would have said 3rd.
3rd, you're right. So Georgia is 3rd. Florida is 4th.
Yeah, because it was a pretty rough awakening coming out of here, just with friends and stuff. Because I would say I would pick something like New York or California just for giggles, but California is pretty. I never really had super negative experiences there. I didn't do any online dating in New York. Let's throw New York State in there just because it's a mixed bag of lots of things.
Nope.
All right, now, okay, let's just do it again. Arizona
is number 5.
Okay, all right, I got it a little warmer.
So rounding out the top 5, Georgia's 3rd, Florida is 4th, and Arizona is 5th.
Okay, so Tennessee's not on there.
No.
Not a lot of people dating in Tennessee. Okay.
Some of the safest states they said were Kentucky, Washington State.
Okay.
And I thought, really? Oklahoma.
Okay. Okay, so it's, I mean, it's really across the board. It's not even like regional size or socioeconomic, like, okay. I won't take forever on this. I really don't think Texas is on there. It's
Nope.
way too authentic.
Nope.
I don't know, somewhere like Maryland.
Nope. So coming in at number 2 on the list, which was surprising for me, Alaska.
I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, I forgot about the non-contiguouses.
Which, when you think about it, you know, for the longest time, they always say Alaska has more men. Like for every 6 men, you have 1 woman. And I'm like, oh, let's move to Alaska. We need to go to Alaska, Rebecca. However,
men.
When you read this poll and you read the article, you go, okay, that makes sense to me that you get out there and not be able to meet any, because part of me feels like if that's true with Alaska, and if it's true with the Alaska landscape, most of the authentic men out there are probably not on an online dating site. You're probably meeting them at the local.
Yeah, that's true. People probably
trading post.
So the only reason that Alaska came to mind is the nature of like a long winter and a rush for a need. So if you're preying on people, a rush for a long period of time of a need of closeness. Secondly, the population, I think, is much lower for the size. I mean, so you are just going to be generally working with fewer people to choose from, which therefore creates some opportunity to fill that in with fake profiles. But I mean, are some of these scams and things out of staters? Because I have some friends, they talk to people who are in, you know, other states, other cities, you know, you go wide after a while. Somewhere like Savannah's pretty small. And so, but there's plenty of scammy stuff going on there. So is it
everywhere? Yeah.
Is it people that are in the state or just showing up on that state's app?
I mean, maybe they're saying that. We'll read more about the poll in a second.
Tell us the 3. Tell us the 3. I've kept people long enough.
So your top 1 is Nevada. Nevada comes in at the number 1 mark, which when you think about it, you go, okay, well, that's very transient. It says the top 5 rankings for being the least dangerous states is Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Kentucky, and Idaho.
Nice job, guys. Okay, so what are our top 3? Well, we got Georgia. What's the top 2?
The top 2 is Nevada.
Oh,
Alaska, Georgia.
Nevada, Alaska, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah. So it says Florida already has a bad reputation thanks to the Florida man. And our numbers for online dating.
Got a good family.
Yeah. Our numbers for online dating risk factors don't help the situation. Florida is the 2nd worst state in the country for both identity theft and fraud.
Wow. And
the 7th worst for becoming a victim of romance scams. Let's see.
Do we know the top ones so we can warn the audience for the romance scams? Do they have that listed?
I don't think they list it. So a majority of women under 50 who have used dating sites or apps, 56% in all of the ones polled, say they have been sent a sexually explicit message or image they didn't ask for. And about 4 in 10 have had someone continue to contact them after they said they were not interested, 43%, or have been called an offensive name, the study says.
And this is all for women. We're not talking about men dating men or women.
No, it just said, well, It is. Now we have to preface this poll and this story came out in the Privacy Journal.
I don't know.
Florida just ranked as one of the top 5 most dangerous states for online dating, according to a recent study from online security platform Privacy Journal. The good news is that the dangers of online dating are less about violence than they are about dating scams and catfishing. Dating online isn't always dangerous, but there's always a risk when you agree to meet up with a stranger based on a profile that they've curated to look a certain way. Now, the great thing about this article is, how can I be safe while online dating? Here are the 5 safety tips for online dating from RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. That's RAINN, RAINN. It said, 1, don't use your Instagram or Facebook photos on your dating profile, because they're saying that gives people that are trying to scam you or find you, they can then look at your dating profile and say, oh, that's the same person.
They can do a Google photo.
Yeah. It's easy to do a reverse image search with Google. If your dating profile has a photo that also shows up on your Instagram or Facebook, it'll be easier for someone to find you on social media.
Okay, that's
good advice. Good advice.
Or don't post any real personal information on your social media, like where you live.
Yes. Don't share live or motion photos. Photos taken in live mode include geolocation information that can be passed on along with the photo. Exercise caution when sharing these images with matches and potential dates.
So this is not posting it on the thing. This is when you're in the text phase with the person before you've met.
Or even on your online profile, because now on the Hive, you can post a video, right?
Yeah. Moving images.
Avoid interaction with suspicious profiles. We've always said this, though. There are ways to figure out if it's a gutter swipe or if you think it's weird. AI photos are starting to make it a little bit difficult because people are starting to post AI photos in their dating profiles, and certain sites won't allow you to do that. So certain sites have, I guess, an algorithm that says this photo is filtered or doctored.
Can you imagine if a site decided that you were AI? Like if I'm on there and they're like, oh, you're not a real person. Your eyes are too weird.
Well, here's what's sad and a little scary. TMZ earlier this week reported that there is now a beauty pageant that is coming out that uses all AI images of females.
No, I'm out. I'm out.
And I'm like, I'm done. Like, we're done. Like, you can't do that, because then that sets up, and even TMZ was like, that sets everybody up for like some horrible issues moving forward. And I was like, I'm here for it. That's going to create a lot of body dysmorphia. That's going to cause a lot of that's going to negate all the regular pageants that are out there that are doing good things. Not every pageant does. Miss Gun Ammo is probably not on par with Miss America, but
unless it's a weight, gun.
I mean, if we allow that, then there are going to be dating apps where everybody's AI, and
I mean, there's going to be, I guarantee, there's going to be a dating app that is you match with AI profiles, and can't wait to hear from Charles. You match with AI profiles that like you have the Sims, like you have the experience of online dating these people, never meeting them, having an online relationship, which is more and more common between real people. And you're just all the chatting that you do with other people, this thing learns how to flatter you, and you just get comfortable with it. You're like, yeah, this is my life now. It's better than talking to my dog.
Hi, Charles Richardson. Well, they had actually said on TMZ, they had said that if this happens, they were like, where we are absolutely going is that movie Her with Scarlett Johansson.
Yep. Oh, that's definitely going to happen.
People will be dating AI.
They will absolutely be dating AI.
And then you'll be like, They'll think that they have an
People
online
are
relationship.
already basically dating AI when they have like deeply like even just like genuine porn addictions, and if you have favorite profiles and things like that, that person is no more real to you than a computer program, and deep inside you know that. And an AI computer program is going to start learning your preferences and tell you what you want to
And the
hear.
way you like to have and your conversation modes. And the next thing you know, we're going to be getting invitations in the mail to come join Joshua. And
I mean, you guys we all went through the pandemic, and you know what it's like when, like, if you lived alone during the pandemic before you got a pet, things got weird. No, but like you talk to yourself, you're like, I'm kind of crazy trying to get human interaction.
Yeah.
There are people who will date AI. I would not have dated AI.
I wouldn't have either. I wouldn't either.
But
I need it in the flesh.
depression was closing in. We'll say that much.
I need it in the flesh, hence why I have a viral infection right now. So Charles Richardson said he's been to Alaska a few times, and Anchorage is full of alcoholics or alcohols. Or did you mean alcoholics?
Charles, are you in Anchorage right now? No,
I've been to Alaska a few times, and Anchorage is full of alcohols. I think you meant alcoholics. He'll probably say yes.
Probably applies to both. You know, you would need one. You'd need the one.
Kenza said, hope you haven't run into anything like this in your online dating endeavor, Jules.
So I was going to ask you, have you been catfished? If you have choices, what is your top catfish story?
I mean, I have not, I'm sure I've been catfished. I'm sure.
You have not knowingly found a catfish.
But a lot of people often think that I'm catfishing, and which I think is funny, because then I'll actually go on a date with them and they'll be like, oh my God, you look like your pictures. And I'm like, imagine that. I'm trying to find romance. So imagine that I would look like my photos. And then when you talk to them about it, they're like, yeah, you know, sometimes a girl shows up and she looks like Heidi Klum in her profile, and she shows up and she looks like Fiona Shrek at the Golden Corral. And I'm like, that's horrible. But I don't get.
Terrible show. We should just not air this.
I don't.
It's live.
I don't get why people do that. I don't get it. Like, and then you have shows like Catfish on MTV, and they're like, we're casting for Catfish. And I see that casting notice a lot recently, and I'm like, who's still catfishing?
Oh my God, no, it's everywhere. The thing that gets me with, if you're going to catfish, the mentality must be that you do never intend to meet.
Or they're doing it for monetary gain, maybe.
Well, yes, you have that. But
so
many people these days are connecting and refusing to meet, or don't need to meet that much, or are in remote connections and are having sort of what feel like thriving relationships with people or connections, right? And like, I think like you come across so many people who just like don't even want to meet, but like, you know, are blowing you up all the time. So I think like a lot of catfish are pretty that can be a fairly satisfying experience, to be in constant contact with people.
I mean, I'm pretty careful, and I've run into them, I'm sure, but I'll look at a profile and I'll be like, that's not real. Because Rebecca and I have dissected this before on podcasts. We'll be like, that's not a real person, or that is a real person, but those pictures are stolen.
Yeah.
There's, you know, and I'm on a lot of sites. Thanks for reminding me, Kenza. You know, there's been a lot of fallback lately about, are we dating the same guy? Are we dating the same girl on Facebook? And now that particular founder who started those pages has now created an app that's off of Facebook. It's called Safe Tea. Safe TEA. And now in this app, you can't screenshot, you can't send to other people, which I think is great, because those apps and those pages were originally set up not to necessarily defame individuals, but just
Yeah.
to keep women safe. And so now that there's a new app out there and that you can join the app and that there's safety in that, and you don't have to worry about people coming back and being like treating you horribly because you shared some of the red flags, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Charles actually posted today, which made me laugh. And I'm going to mention this because he cracks me up. He finds the funniest things to post on Facebook. Charlie posted a picture today and it said, "Lock up your mothers and your husbands. Gypsy Rose Lee is single again." I was like, ha ha ha, true. Lock up your. So, what about women who catfish using filters? And when you actually meet them, they look nothing like with the picture they use. I think these things go both ways. 100%. 100%. Look,
You're talking about it.
You're talking about everybody. I use filters on a lot of my images, but I'm just trying to take out these and these. Look, I'm 49, and I'll admit it, I'm always honest about my age. But everybody has, I guess issues is a good way of saying it, Rebecca. Everybody has flaws and issues that they want to hide a little bit. So Manny hates that I always use this one filter on Snapchat for us. And he was like, "Julie, that makes us look like we're 12. And I'm like, yeah. So with Botox, but I can't afford Botox. I can't afford Snapchat. However, I think Charlie or Charles, you're talking about the people that literally, like, there are filters on Snapchat that will change your whole
face
facial
shape.
structure
Yeah.
and elongate your eyes. And
Oh yeah, it was so weird.
That person doesn't look like that at all.
Well, here's the thing: is I think if you're softening some of the lines, or you're trying to get some good angles or whatever, it's like it's one thing. Or like, okay, let's say that like you put on some holiday weight. You're like 5 pounds heavier now than you were when you put the thing. I mean, you know, like there's a line, okay. But but when you are misrepresenting who you are, period, of the story, massively like your age, when you are actively trying to deceive people into thinking that you look differently than you do, that is just, it's a recipe for failure. Because I want to over deliver on a date. I want you to have under expected what you will experience of me and then be like, oh my God, she's even better than I thought, you know. No, but like she's really cool. I kind of liked her. Maybe I thought she was cute, and in person she's really great. Because it really sucks for it to go the other way, for you to be like, oh, this person is not interested in me anymore. So anyway, it's not a great strategy. It's not an ethical strategy, sure. But yeah, but like doing a little bit of softening, doing a little bit of whatever, okay, fine.
And that's normal because that's what we've been doing.
It's normal. Everybody does that, and you kind of expect that, right? And a lot of times the things that I've gotten, they're not catfish, but the changes you find in the person when you meet them have to do with their voice, their gait, just their general demeanor. Oh no, are you okay?
I'm fine.
And those take an adjustment. And so anyway, but I did notice I was on it's scrolling on something recently, and the person was like clearly not a good 10 years older than the listed range. And I thought, okay, what's the logic there? Because we can all see that you are not 45. Like, we know this for a fact.
Well, we've said that before on the Hive. You're not 40.
Yeah. But then, you know, people have become a little more forgiving of that, because if you look like the photo, it's like, okay, well, I mean, you know. But what I realized is that they want to show up in the searches probably for people who are, Julie, you have to admit, if you've ever done this, looking for a 20-year-old, people who I have yet to do it.
Look, I'm currently seeing somebody that's 30. I'm
Great.
not shameful.
But if but people are changing their ages so that if if somebody younger is like I was recently talking to
like if somebody, if they were
like,
somebody
ew,
younger,
this
they-
35-year-old was interested in me. I'm like, sorry. No, but yeah, like that a lot of times people who are younger are less likely to put their age range up to 46.
But look, we could even throw it back in. We're both in the entertainment industry, more or less, and you fall into that trap. Like so many years I've gone on to auditions before, and they're like, "What's your age range?" And it's not like where you think you are age wise. It was always like for the entertainment industry, it's like, where do you fall if you're in your 20s, but you could still play an 18-year-old and you want to role, then your age range would be a 5-year span. And I think that even when you ask people what's your type and they start talking about what they're into or who they're into, they'll say, oh, well, like my age bracket, because we have to do this on the Hive, I changed it today because the Hive was giving me more people in their 60s and early 70s. And I was like, that's not what I'm interested in. I put it on there so I would have more options for this show and for dating. But to be honest, I
was like, we have so many choices.
I don't want to date somebody that's my mom's age. I mean, my mom's in her early 70s. I don't want to date somebody that's like 66, 67, 68. And that tends to be the algorithm that I'm getting. And I was like, no, I want to go more towards the younger size. So I just knocked 5-10 years off. So now I'm back at like the 26 to I think 58 range on
right. But that 59-year-old knows that he would be someone you would date, but isn't going to show up in your searches. So sometimes I think people are hacking the algorithm.
Yeah.
If you're hacking the algorithm by like 10 years, you need to wake up and take a.
And look, let's be honest, it's hard. Look, dating is hard anyway. We've said that a million times on this podcast. It is hard. And online dating, to be honest, when you put everything else into play, is a dumpster fire.
It is. It's all
not 2 or 3. So there's no perfect dating site. There's no perfect way to reel people in. But for Florida to fall on the top 5 and for Georgia to be right above it, that just means that and you don't want to say that we are gullible as daters, but we all fall into that trap when you're alone and you're trying to find somebody.
Everybody's gullible, and especially when you're.
But like something I realized even in the last couple of months, and I shared it with a friend of mine, I said, let's be honest. You're on a dating app with thousands of other people. It would be totally blind of you to think that when you match with John in Deerfield Beach, who's successful and cute and has a boat, that he's also not talking to 50 other women who have also matched with him.
Yeah.
And then you can't get upset when he's like, man, you're not what I'm looking for. Because he's got 49 other women he's talking to. I think that's what's hard about it. I think people get so now as I go through, even for this podcast, I'm like, if I meet somebody online, great. If I meet somebody at the park, great. If I meet somebody going out to have a drink at World of Beer, terrific. Like, you can't be all in online dating and not open to anything else. And you can't be all online. You can't be all into something else and not see what online dating has to offer. Not everybody that's looking for love is going to be online. And certainly with all the scams and everything else that are going on, it's like the next tip that they give in the list of how to be safe. Tip number 4 is check out his or her social media. But not everybody's going to be on social media for all of the reasons that we've already talked about. And I have come across
the people who read tip 1 are not on there.
I've come across a lot of men and dated men that are like, I don't do social media.
I don't really do it right now.
Does that mean that they're not on the up and up? No, they don't do social media. I know entertainers that are like funny and headlining shows in Las Vegas, and they're like, I don't do social media. And you're like, but you're on social, and they're like, nope, my PR firm does social media. I don't do it. And you're like, oh, okay, noted, right? So that's that was the number 4 hack, right, of staying safe. Check out their social media. But to be honest, not everybody's going to have social media. Is that a red flag?
It is if it is.
Maybe, but you have to think it is.
It is if it's a 24-year-old who doesn't look like they're fairly alternative in general, but not if we're on the 59-year-old that got through the filter.
Because a 59-year-old's probably not going to have Facebook. Maybe.
They might not have TikTok.
The whole world's about not to have.
Strawberries got me, Julie.
America's about to not have TikTok, from what I've heard.
Okay.
5, block and report suspicious profiles. That's a given. That would be a given.
I have never done. I have blocked people. I've never reported anyone. It's not that I wouldn't. I think I haven't. I'm so almost like completely averse to talking to anyone on the internet unless I just think you're the best thing since sliced bread. And then I'll leave a conversation and maybe they block me. But I have not reported anyone. So, but there are people I could have potentially reported.
I've reported people that are aggressively won't leave me alone.
Yeah, you should.
When I've said
I'm
not interested, and they keep coming back, and they're like, "But you're gorgeous," or I would love to do these things to you. I'm like, I'm gonna be safety moderator for everybody on the app, and I'm just gonna go ahead and report you. And then by reporting them, I'm letting the app creator decide.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they don't automatically shut down the person's profile.
No, they have to look at it. And sometimes you have to include screenshots of your conversation. Mm-hmm. It just depends. If I've said things in the conversation that are a little off color too, I'm not necessarily going to report them. But if I've asked you to leave me alone and you continue to do it, and then you reach out to me on a different platform, then...
That is so unbelievably common. It's insane. Oh, yes. I like you on Snapchat. How did I not realize you were so much better on Snapchat with all of your unsolicited dick photos? That was what I was missing before. You should have led with that.
Right.
What is wrong with these people?
I had a guy reach out to me the other day, and on a different platform that we have never showcased on this podcast, and his name was Small.
Oh, cool.
Because these screen names are not very creative anymore. Small that likes to wear your undergarments, right? Well, I'm not going to be as graphic about it, but I literally was like, I'm not into you. I'm not into you.
Panties?
And I don't know if we can say that on YouTube. So I literally was like,
the P word that I just said. You don't know if we can say that on YouTube?
I don't know if we can. They're weird. Everybody's getting weird these days.
No, I think you have to wait for the first, because I want to start a channel soon for something else. And I think you have to wait for the first 5. Of course, I looked this up, you guys. Don't judge me. It's the strawberries talking now. The first 5 minutes you shouldn't curse, but after that you're kind of okay. Anyway, that's a look into it. But anyway, I will try to keep a lock on it. But the undergarments, the garter belts.
But I literally was like, okay, and I started to talk to him because what did I tell you earlier today? I don't care what you wear anymore if you treat me like a human being. However, his chatter was gross from the get-go. And I was like, I'm not interested. And because of the platform I was on, my block list was full. And I was like, please don't contact me again. I can't block you. And then you
can only block a certain amount of people on this app?
100 on this app or whatever. So I eventually ended up writing this app and said, look, I'm reporting him because he will not leave me alone. And my block list is full and I can't block anybody else. And I guess they never wrote me back and said, we've taken care of it. but I tried to block him again last night and blocked him. So I thought, okay, maybe they cleared.
Great.
My last.
Well, here's my thing with that though. Okay, I am all for a weird thing that you do with your undergarments or my undergarments or whatever.
Right, whatever. Clothing.
But if you lead with some descriptors of what goes under the undergarments and all the things like as your profile name, then I'm like, yeah, no, could you have told me the name of your favorite book? Like,
well, and let's be honest, if that's your screen
focus.
name and you're leading with a small haha, I'm gonna say no anyway because that's not gonna do anything for me.
Yeah. I mean, you know what that
Rude.
person's probably trying to do is they're probably trying to filter out all of the people that rejected them once the reveal happened. Look, I don't discriminate with that involved. I'm not as picky as other people. However, I'm just saying.
I mean, I'll say it.
You are allowing us to be mean to you.
I'll say it. It's my show. I'll say it. It's my show. I like candy, but if I like Tic Tacs, I'd buy Tic Tacs. So you can't be mad at me when I say, I don't want a Tic Tac.
Oh man, she said it. No. We all have different preferences. It's just my main thing is if you're gonna lead with this, sir, then you best believe somebody on their show is going to be making fun of you in front of the general public.
Yeah, like we just did. Like I just did. Tic Tac.
And you know what we wouldn't have done? We wouldn't have done that. Julie would never have said that if you had led with your favorite book title and you guys had chatted and gone on a nice date and you had an experience together and she would have been talking to me in private. Oh, I don't know, but like maybe it's okay. And I'd be like, well, you can't be too picky. And she'd be like, okay, I'm back and forth on it. I'll think about it. And you know what? We wouldn't have talked about it on here, sir. You did this.
And you wouldn't have gotten blocked.
You wouldn't have gotten blocked.
I have one more thing to share with you, and then we'll be closing out the show because it's 8:02 and we've had a great show tonight. But I tagged you in this on Facebook, and you said you hadn't seen it, and so I read it to you, and your face said it all, Rebecca. But somebody said the other day they should create a new dating app for all the emotionally unavailable, unserious men in the world, and they should name it Fumble.
That's like the best dad joke I've ever heard.
Fumble. Why aren't you with her? I fumbled.
That really tickled me.
It tickled me too when I saw it. I think I laughed because, that's the main site that we use on here, and we call it the Hive. So when I heard that, I just started laughing. Also,
cereal.
We have to get back to picking like gutter, at least if we're not picking matches for me, we have to start picking gutter swipe of the week because.
Well, you know who gets the title is small with the undergarment.
Tic Tac, but he wasn't even on.
I know, but he is a gutter swipe. He gets the gutter swipe of the week in the meantime.
Yes. And I think what's sad is I really try not to judge people. And I think we're all guilty of doing that from time to time. But if you've seen Lilo and Stitch, which is one of my favorite movies.
Where is this going?
Have you seen Lilo and Stitch?
Like a long time ago.
Okay. Do you remember the scientist that created Lilo that comes down to Earth to catch him?
I'm not ready.
And he kind of looks like this mole. He looks like
I need to look it up right now.
I feel like I need to look it up, but you need to look it up. And then when you find it, show me, and I'll be like, that's him. So he's the scientist that created Stitch, and he comes down to catch Stitch in Hawaii. He kind of looks like a mole. Yeah, that's him. That's what the guy looked like with the small Tic Tac. Yep, that's him. That's what he looks like. That's what he looked like. With the tic tac that likes to wear women's undergarments. And I literally was like, I've told you I'm not interested. And he goes, you're stunning. And I said, I know. And thank you for the compliment. However,
The best however ever.
I've told you every night that you've messaged me, I'm not interested and I can't block you because my block list is full.
And he said,
what do you do? And he goes, okay. And then I delete the conversation, and the next day you're back in my inbox. Well, you're stunning. I know. We've covered this before. And you have
that always really is so fascinating to me. It's like you complimenting me does nothing for you. Like it does not raise your status that you think there's something good about me. Like how is that going to win me over about you?
In other news,
logic is flawed.
In other news, it's been a crazy week, and but I'm getting better. My sickness is almost over, and good things are coming my way. We'll be talking about all of those in the next couple of episodes. Rebecca and I have to get together soon to plan out some more shows that we can use when we're not live. People clearly like us better live, and just know that we are still working on finding a platform that will convert our shows back onto Apple Podcasts and Spotify, because we've been sending people there to listen to our podcast, and people are like, you're not on there. So, but we'll get that taken care of, and then we'll be able to put all these past episodes up as well. What do you have going on this week?
Things I can't talk about.
Have going on.
Yeah, things I can't talk about. Work is going okay. Guys, I bore you. I don't know. Nothing really exciting this week. This week is sort of the slower week of all the things.
You know what we should do? Here's an idea for you. Next time you come to Melbourne,
okay,
we should take a laptop, probably my laptop, and we should do our show from the cigar bar.
Oh, the OG.
Yeah. We love that place.
That would be great.
We love that place. We had macaroons and smelled cigar. It was just a really cool vibe. I don't know if they would be down to let us go into the corner and do it, but we should do it.
We'd have to have like headphone equipment. We'd figure it out.
We'll make it work. Anyway, it's been great. Now I'm really loving my look that I've had a couple of glasses of wine.
I'm loving my life now that I've had a couple of glasses of wine. Guys, the strawberries are clutch because in a nice clean glass of rosé, you can really taste the strawberries over time.
True. I'm also going to go on Sidewinder tonight, if you know what app I'm talking about.
Wait, are we speaking?
Can I just show you real fast? Just.
Oh yeah, Julie's. Okay, but we need to explain. We need to share to the class that this person is not 14.
He's not. He's 30.
Right.
30 and.
I need to stop. Or I'm going to move to Alaska.
No, you'll get catfish. That's the second on the list.
Oh yeah, that's right. Nope, never mind.
We should go to Alaska anyway, though, just to see if we should just go. We should start traveling and then we should start doing our show while we're on the road.
We would like to do it abroad from a villa in Italy. Thank you.
Anybody can get it. Kinzet, you're still in here.
We love you,
Kinzet stayed. Can you get us to Italy? Manny can probably get us to Spain in the next year.
I'm not above Spain.
I'm not above it.
That sounds really nice.
Mediterranean. We could do our show from the Mediterranean. All right. We are going to go ahead. Oh, wait. Kinza said, girl, tell me when. You can get us to Italy. You can get us to Italy.
We love you, Kenza. Thank you.
I can't take Rebecca away before the end of the summer because she's in a play.
That's true.
Did you make the final cast?
Yes, I'm in it. I'm the foreman.
You know, I may have to come see this show. It's in August, right?
Yeah, I gotta find the date. I won't bore the audience trying to look it up.
You can send it to me. Kenseth was gonna come. Wasn't he gonna come to our show last year and he didn't? Oh no, I think he was gonna go. I'm not naming. He was gonna try and go see Mrs. Evers' Boys, but I didn't go.
August 10th.
August 10th. That I may have to go. I may have to go. Is LaVon in it?
I don't think so.
I gotta find out who the other Yvette. Who are the other 12 jurors?
Yvette is in it. Okay, we gotta do this green room time. People are gonna be like, "Who the fuck is Yvette?" We love her. She's a great person.
I got the hots for Yvette. Oh my God! You know where we should go? You know where we should go? I want to go see Jeremy Jordan in The Great Gatsby on Broadway. It opened the other night. His voice is like butter. We need a New York trip to go see The Great Gatsby.
Who would like to sponsor us?
That's right.
The Broadway show.
Who would like to sponsor our trip to New York to see The Great Gatsby? And we could go see Wicked because I've never seen it. Okay. On that note, if you would like to sponsor us, I'll tell you we have a Patreon account, but I don't think it's active. And things we have to do this week. And just sponsor us, right? Just sponsor us. So you can reach us at Juleigh at justjuleigh.com or info@justjuleigh.com. Right now, the only people reaching out to me on my website are Russian. And that's not good. They can't sponsor me.
We're not going to talk about that.
So that's it. Join us next week as we talk about something else.
And I promise one of us, no, I can't promise this. One of us might be less drunk than the last 2 times we've been on here. Because it was you last time, it's me this time.
I was. I came home from the bar. I come home from the bar and was 3 sheets to the wind, I think.
Everybody should take bets.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? Okay. All right. We love you guys.
Bye. See you next week.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Juleigh, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Juleigh tries a different rosé.